There are 13 Chinese hygiene rules that most people break every single day, and they are the reason you still smell even after a shower. And the worst part? You don't even know it. In the West, people try to cover smell. In China, they remove it completely. Big difference. These are not hacks, that these are not trends, that these are everyday Chinese habits, built around one simple idea: you can't smell yourself. That's why every rule goes to the source, not the surface. Some of these will sound strange, some will feel uncomfortable, but one of them will change your life. Let's start. Number 1. Your towel is not clean. Most people think a towel is clean just because it looks clean, but look closer at the towel hanging in your bathroom right now. It's thick. It's been used for days. And it never fully dries between uses. It just sits there, damp, in a warm room. That combination, moisture plus warmth, is exactly what bacteria need to grow. So here's the masla. You step out of the shower clean, and then you dry yourself with the exact towel that's been growing bacteria all week. You're not drying the smell away. You're putting it back on. Chinese homes fix this differently. Towels are thin, so they dry in under an hour. They're often used once, then washed. Nothing sits around long enough to grow anything. The fix: wash your towel in hot water weekly. Let it fully air dry between uses, and if it's still even slightly damp, don't use it yet. You don't have a body odor problem, you have a towel problem. And now you know it. Number 2, you wash in the wrong order. Think about the order you shower in. Body first, then hair, right? That's what almost everyone does. Here's the masla with that: when you wash your hair last, the shampoo, conditioner, and everything that rinses out of it runs straight down your neck, shoulders, and back. And because hair washing is usually the last rush step, that residue often doesn't get rinsed off properly. So you leave the shower thinking you're clean, but there's product sitting on your skin, mixing with sweat for the rest of the day. Chinese method flips the order: hair first, body second, then one final full rinse from top to bottom. By the time you're done, nothing is left behind on your skin. The fix: wash hair first, body second, and end with a slow, full body rinse, not a quick splash. Small change in order, big change in what's actually left on your skin. Number 3, your shower tool is dirty. That loofah or sponge in your shower, how long have you actually had it? A month? Longer than you'd like to admit? Here's the masla: loofahs and sponges never fully dry, not once. They hang in a wet shower stall day after day, trapping dead skin, soap residue, and bacteria inside every little gap and fiber. Every single time you drag it across your body, you're not cleaning your skin, you're actively rubbing days old, sometimes weeks old bacteria straight into it. Think about that for a second. You step into the shower to get clean. You reach for the one tool in there that's dirtier than you are. And it's not just about smell. A loofah's mesh structure is practically built to trap moisture, thousands of tiny loops that never see direct air. Bath sponges left damp for days have been shown in hygiene studies to carry more bacteria than a kitchen sponge left out for a week. You're not exaggerating the problem. If anything, you've been underestimating it. Chinese homes usually skip loofahs altogether. Instead, they use a simple cloth towel, one that's thin enough to dry fast, gets washed regularly, and never sits around damp long enough to become a bacteria colony. The fix: ditch the loofah completely, or if you're not ready to let it go, replace it every 3 to 4 weeks, no exceptions. Better yet, switch to a thin cloth that fully dries between uses and actually stays clean. You think you're washing your body. In reality, that sponge has been working against you this entire time. Number 4, you're covering smell, not removing it. Deodorant. Body spray. Perfume. Most people reach for one of these the second they get dressed as the first line of defense, not the last. Here's the masla: none of these products actually remove anything. Not one. They sit directly on top of sweat and bacteria that are still very much alive underneath, and by the middle of the afternoon, that smell fights its way straight back through the spray, stronger than before, because now it's mixing with fragrance too. You didn't solve the problem. You just added a layer on top of it and hoped nobody would notice before it wore off. There's a chemistry problem hiding in here too. Fragrance molecules don't neutralize bacteria, they just float on top of them. When sweat and bacteria are still active underneath, the two smells don't cancel each other out. They combine. That's why a heavily sprayed, unwashed body often smells worse by the afternoon than one that was simply left alone. You've created a new, stronger smell instead of removing the old one. Chinese habit is brutally simple. Clean first. Prevent second. Wipe down sweat. Wash the actual source. Only once that's done does anything you put on top stand a real chance of working. The fix: before reaching for spray or deodorant, wipe down with a damp cloth or properly wash the area first. Prevention only works after the problem has actually been removed, never before, never instead of. Spraying perfume over unwashed skin is exactly like spraying air freshener over a trash can that's still full. It buys you 10 minutes. It solves nothing. Number 5, your clothes still hold smell. You wash your shirt. You smell it fresh out of the machine. It's fine clean even. 2 hours into wearing it, the smell is already creeping back. Here's the masla. A normal wash cycle mostly cleans the surface of the fabric. It doesn't always reach, let alone kill the bacteria buried deep inside the threads, especially in the exact spots that matter most: underarms, collar, the back of the neck. The washing machine agitates water around the fabric. It doesn't guarantee anything actually dies, so the shirt looks clean. It smells clean, for now. But the bacteria that caused yesterday's smell, still there, just waiting for enough body heat and sweat to wake back up. This is exactly why the same load of laundry can come out smelling fine, but one specific shirt, your gym shirt, your work shirt, whatever you sweat in most, keeps smelling off no matter how many times you wash it. That shirt has built up a deeper bacterial layer than a single wash cycle was ever designed to remove. It needs more than a rinse. It needs to actually be broken down first. Chinese method adds 2 extra steps most people skip entirely: a hot water soak before washing and sun drying instead of machine drying. Sunlight is a natural disinfectant. It kills bacteria that a washing machine just spins around and never actually eliminates. The fix: soak sweaty clothes in hot water for 15 to 20 minutes before you even wash them, and dry them in direct sunlight whenever you possibly can, instead of defaulting to the dryer. Clothes that smell clean and clothes that actually are clean are 2 completely different things. Now you know exactly which one you've been wearing. Number 6, your clothes material is the problem: cheap polyester. Nylon blends. That $8 t-shirt from a fast fashion rack that felt perfectly fine in the store. Here's the masla: synthetic fabric doesn't breathe. It doesn't let air pass through. It doesn't let moisture escape. It just seals everything in. It traps sweat and heat directly against your skin, creating the perfect warm, damp environment for bacteria to grow, feed, and multiply. Even if the shirt itself looks completely clean, fresh out of the wash, you could shower right before putting it on. Doesn't matter. The second you start sweating even a little, that shirt becomes a sealed container, and you're standing inside it for the rest of the day. That's exactly why the same shirt can smell fine in the morning and completely different by the afternoon. It's not new sweat causing that. It's old sweat with absolutely nowhere to go. There's a reason gyms and hospitals lean toward natural fiber uniforms in high sweat environments, while fashion brands lean toward cheap synthetics. One is designed around function, the other around cost. You've been wearing cost-driven fabric against your skin every day and wondering why the smell won't go away, when the fabric itself was never built to let it go anywhere. Chinese habit favors cotton and breathable fabric worn close to the skin, fabric that lets air move, lets moisture evaporate, and doesn't trap smell the way synthetics do. Synthetics get pushed to outer layers only, where they're never sitting directly against skin. The fix: check the tag before you buy. If it's the layer touching your skin, undershirts, everyday tees, socks, underwear, go cotton or a breathable blend, never full synthetic. Save the polyester for jackets and outerwear, not what's closest to your body. Sometimes it's not your hygiene at fault at all. It's the fabric you've been blaming your body for. Number 7. You wear the same shoes every day, same shoes. Every single day. No rotation. No rest. Here's the masla: shoes take longer than a single night to fully dry on the inside. Not the outside, the inside, where your foot actually sits. If you wear the same pair every single day, they never actually finish drying before you shove your foot back in. They're just perpetually a little damp, hour after hour, day after day. And damp, dark, and closed, that's not just tolerable for bacteria. That's ideal. So every single morning, you're not stepping into yesterday's shoes, you're stepping into a small sealed humid box that's been quietly breeding bacteria all night long. And it compounds. Bacteria left inside a shoe don't reset overnight, they build on themselves day after day. The same way plaque builds on teeth if you never floss. That's why an old pair of daily worn shoes eventually smells strong within seconds of taking them off, while a rotated pair barely smells at all, even after the exact same amount of wear. Chinese habit rotates at least 2 pairs, letting each one rest a full 24 hours before wearing it again, enough time for the inside to actually fully dry out, not just feel dry on the surface. The fix? Get a second pair into rotation and alternate day by day, no exceptions. Let each pair breathe for a full 24 hours before putting it back on, and if you can, pull the insoles out overnight to speed up the drying process. Wet shoes don't just smell bad, they actively grow the smell, fresh, from scratch, every single day you put them back on. Number 8. You ignore your tongue. Quick question. Do you clean your tongue, or just your teeth? Most people brush for 30 seconds, rinse and walk away thinking they're done. They're not. Here's the masala. Most bad breath doesn't actually come from your teeth. It comes from bacteria coating the back of your tongue, a rough, uneven surface that traps dead cells, leftover food, and bacteria in every tiny groove. Your toothbrush barely touches it, if at all. So day after day, that layer just keeps building, quietly, at the back of your mouth. You can brush perfectly, floss every single day, use the strongest mouthwash on the shelf, and still walk around with bad breath because the actual source was never in your teeth to begin with. Dentists have pointed to the tongue as the single largest source of bad breath, causing bacteria in the mouth bigger than gums, bigger than teeth. Yet it's the one surface almost every daily hygiene routine completely forgets, simply because nobody was ever taught it mattered. Chinese habit includes cleaning the tongue daily, using a scraper or the back of a toothbrush as a normal, built-in part of the routine, not an extra step, not something optional, just something you do every single time without thinking twice. The fix: add 15 seconds of tongue cleaning to your daily brushing routine. Scrape from back to front. Rinse. Done. That's it. No special products required. Almost nobody does this. Almost nobody even knows this is the actual problem. That's exactly why it works so well the moment you start. Number 9. Your room smell sticks to you. Cooking oil. Smoke, stale air trapped in a closed room day after day. Here's the masala. That smell doesn't stay in the kitchen. It clings. It settles into your hair, your clothes, even your skin, and follows you out the door without you noticing. Because you've been sitting inside it for so long, your brain has already tuned it out completely. You walk into a room and think it smells fine. That's not proof it's clean. That's proof you've been marinating in it too long to tell the difference. Hair is especially bad at this. It's porous, it has huge surface area, and it sits closest to your nose and everyone else's, which is exactly why someone can hug you hours after you cooked and immediately know what you had for dinner, even though you genuinely can't smell it on yourself anymore. Chinese habit prioritizes ventilation, opening windows daily, keeping air moving through the home, proper airflow while cooking. Open a window for at least 10 to 15 minutes every single day, and always ventilate while cooking. A closed kitchen isn't saving heat, it's saving smell. Sometimes the smell isn't a you problem at all, it's a room problem that's been quietly attaching itself to you the entire time. Number 10. What you eat affects your smell. Garlic. Red meat. Heavy, oily food. Most people eat these every day without thinking twice. But the problem is, these foods don't just affect your breath, they go much deeper. The compounds inside them enter your bloodstream, travel through your body, and slowly come out through your skin, sometimes for an entire day after you've already forgotten what you ate. This is not something you can fix with toothpaste or a quick shower. This is odor coming from inside your body, leaking through your pores while you sit there completely unaware. And that's why two people can follow the exact same hygiene routine, same shower, same clean clothes, and still smell completely different by the end of the day. Hygiene controls what's on your skin. Diet controls what comes out of it. This is where the Chinese habit is different. The focus is not on restriction, but on balanced, lighter meals, simple food, and regular green tea, not as a strict rule, but as a daily default that prevents the problem before it even starts. The fix is simple. Pay attention to how your body smells the day after a heavy meal. That's the real signal. Balance it with lighter food and tea, and give your body time to reset. Because if the smell starts from the inside, no soap, no towel, no spray will ever fix it. Number 11, there are places you never clean properly: behind your ears, your neck, your lower back, and even between your toes. These are the places most people rush past in the shower every day. Not because they don't care, but because they can't see them and can't smell them on themselves. These become blind spots. And that's the problem, because other people notice them instantly. Odor doesn't spread evenly across your body. It builds in specific areas where sweat, heat, and moisture stay longer. Behind the ears, along the neck, lower back, and between the toes, these are high-activity zones where bacteria grows fast. And since your nose can't detect it, you assume you're clean when you're not. This is where the Chinese habit is different. These areas are never skipped. No rushing, no guessing, just a fixed part of the routine every single day. Not complicated, just consistent. The fix is simple. Next time you shower, don't just let water run over these spots and think it's enough. Give them a few extra seconds of real attention. That's it. Because the parts you ignore the most are the ones that expose you the fastest. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Start with one rule tonight, because the difference you'll notice tomorrow. Number 12, you never soak your feet. Feet get washed. Feet almost never get soaked. There's a difference, and it's bigger than you think. Here's the masla. Your feet have more sweat glands per square inch than almost anywhere else on your body, thousands of them, packed tight, working overtime inside a closed shoe all day. A quick rinse in the shower barely touches what's built up in there. It cleans the surface. It does nothing for what's soaked deep into the skin, especially around the soles and between the toes. So you shower every day, your feet still smell by evening, and you assume it's just how your feet are. It isn't. It's undertreated, not untreatable. Chinese households have used warm foot soaks for generations, not as a spa luxury, but as a basic nightly habit, often with hot water, sometimes with ginger, salt, or herbal additions. The heat opens pores, loosens buildup, and improves circulation, while the soak itself does what a 30-second rinse never could. The fix: soak your feet in warm water for 10 to 15 minutes a few nights a week. Dry them completely afterward, especially between the toes, and never put socks on damp feet. You've been treating your feet like an afterthought. Your feet have been treating you accordingly. Number 13, your bedding is recycling your smell. Every night you shower before bed, you feel clean. Then you lie down on the same pillowcase and sheets you've been sleeping on for 2 weeks straight. Here's the masla. Bedding absorbs sweat, oil, and dead skin every single night, and unlike your body, it doesn't get washed the next morning. It just sits there, reabsorbing the same buildup night after night, which means every time you lie down clean, you're immediately reintroducing exactly what you just washed off. That's not a small oversight. Skin renews itself constantly, shedding cells and oil every night regardless of how clean you were before bed, and all of it goes straight into the fabric, touching your face for 6 to 8 hours straight. Chinese homes treat bedding hygiene as seriously as body hygiene. Pillowcases changed multiple times a week, and sheets regularly taken outside and sun-dried rather than just machine-dried. Sunlight does to bedding exactly what it does to clothes. It kills what a wash cycle alone leaves behind. The fix: change your pillowcase at least twice a week, wash your sheets weekly, and sun-dry bedding whenever you can instead of defaulting straight to the dryer. You can do everything else on this list perfectly. If you're lying face down in the same buildup every night, you're undoing it in your sleep.